My name is Hannah Collins, and I'm 17. On March 28th, during my spring break, I bled out in a dusty diner parking lot in New Mexico. I was a senior in high school, from a small town just outside Dallas, Texas. Life was normal. SAT scores, curfew fights, and dreams of Texas A&M for veterinary science. I imagined a good job, a family, and a big yard full of rescued dogs. It was a simple, happy plan. My best friend Maya and I had been planning our road trip for months, saving every penny from our grocery store jobs. We were driving to Santa Fe to stay with her cousin, our first real trip without parents. The freedom felt electric, radio blasting until my throat hurt, gas station candy piling up on the dashboard. By the second day, we'd been on the road for nearly 10 hours. Outside the car, there was only endless, empty desert. At 10 p.m., we spotted a faint neon glow ahead, an old greasy spoon called the Cactus Grill. It looked like it belonged to another decade, but it was open and we were starving. The food was terrible, but we didn't care. It was just good to be out of the car. We laughed and made plans for tomorrow. Sitting in that booth, I texted my dad. "Almost there. Love you, I didn't know it would be the last thing I'd ever write." We paid the bill and stepped outside into the cold. The parking lot was nearly empty, lit by a single buzzing fluorescent light that cast eerie shadows. Then, we saw him, a thin, wiry man with wide, frantic eyes, stepping out from behind a pickup. He mumbled about voices and messages, his words tumbling out like static. Maya grabbed my arm as my whole body turned cold. Fear in real life isn't like the movies. It's a quiet, paralyzing chill. "Just give him your purse," Maya whispered. But he didn't want money. He lunged, closing the distance in a heartbeat. Pain exploded in my side. A burning, crushing punch I barely understood was a knife. I looked down and saw the blood spreading. Maya's scream echoed into the desert like a siren. A car screeched into the lot. It was the police. An officer jumped out, shouting. The man turned, a gun suddenly in his hand. 2 deafening bangs split the air. He folded and dropped to the ground. I tried to stand, but my legs gave out, and I collapsed. Maya knelt over me, her hands slick with my blood. "Stay with me, Hannah. Please stay with me." And then everything went silent. The flashing lights froze in midair. Maya's scream caught in a photograph. The officer's gun raised like a statue. Even the killer mid-fall hung suspended, a grotesque painting. The pain was gone. The fear was gone. I felt myself lift gently, like a balloon slipping free. I floated above my own body, above Maya, above the entire frozen scene. I could see the dusty parking lot, the half-eaten burgers inside the diner, and the vast starry sky overhead. I was separate from it all. Then I felt a pull, a gentle but firm tug from somewhere behind and above me. The parking lot, the diner, the world, all of it began to shrink, fading into a pinpoint of light. I was moving through a tunnel, but it wasn't dark or scary. It glowed with soft swirling light like the inside of a pearl, warm and peaceful. I remember one stray thought. I forgot to call Dad back. Then the tunnel opened. I was standing in a place with no walls, no ceiling, no floor, just pure, brilliant living light. It didn't hurt my eyes. It felt more like breathing than seeing. And he was there. I knew instantly it was Jesus, though he looked nothing like the pictures. No flowing hair or white robe. His form was something beyond description. It was like looking at the sun, if the sun were made of love. The air around him shimmered and vibrated, not with heat, but with a sound. It was a low, beautiful hum that resonated deep in my chest, calming every fear I'd ever known. It was the sound of perfect peace, of home. He didn't speak with a mouth. His voice wasn't something you heard with ears. It was a thought, a feeling, a perfect understanding blooming directly in my soul. It felt like a memory I'd forgotten, the truest thing I'd ever known. He looked at me, and in his gaze, I felt no judgment for my mistakes, no anger for my doubts. I felt completely and utterly known and loved. A love so powerful, it seemed to hold every atom of me together. I began to cry, not from sadness, but from relief. The weight of being human, the fears, jealousies, pride, all of it fell away. For the first time, I was truly myself. Then the scene shifted. Jesus didn't speak. He just showed me. We were back in the parking lot, but not looking at me. We were looking at my killer. I saw him not as a monster, but as a boy. His life flashed before me like a film reel. I saw him hiding under his bed as his parents screamed. I felt his loneliness. I saw him bullied in middle school, a dark seed of bitterness planting itself in his heart. I saw the wrong choices he made as a teen. Small at first, a lie here, a theft there, each one feeding that dark seed, its roots tightening around his soul. I saw the whispers, literally saw them, dark shadowy things clinging to him, murmuring lies. No one loves you. You're worthless. They all deserve to be punished. He listened, fed them, and over the years their voices grew stronger until his own was gone. My heart ached for him. I felt a strange wave of pity. I looked at Jesus, expecting him to speak about forgiveness, about love. But we weren't finished. He showed me the light. I saw every chance the man had been given to turn back. A kind teacher in 3rd grade told him he was smart, but he pushed it away. A pastor in a soup kitchen put a hand on his shoulder and said, "God loves you, son." But he shrugged it off and walked away. I saw his mother, an old tired woman, on her knees by her bed praying for him. Her prayers appeared as thin golden threads of light stretching across the country toward him. I watched as he, in anger and despair, cut each one with his choices. He was choosing the darkness, rejecting rescue. Just weeks before he killed me, I saw him in his lonely apartment flipping channels. A preacher spoke of mercy. He watched for a full minute, the light of the message sparking in his heart. And then he changed the channel. He had so many chances, so many moments to choose a different path, and he rejected every single one. Tears streamed down my face because I finally understood. It wasn't that God failed to reach for him, but that he refused to take the hand offered. Then Jesus showed me the final scene. Judgment. The man's spirit stood confused and furious in the same place of light where I was. He looked at Jesus, and it was like oil and water. The darkness inside him couldn't bear the purity of the light. He recoiled, shielding his eyes, screaming in agony. The light wasn't hurting him. It was revealing him. It showed him the truth of his own soul, and he couldn't stand it. Jesus didn't condemn him. He didn't have to. The man's own choices were his condemnation. The shadowy things he'd listened to his whole life were there too. But now they weren't his friends. They were his jailers. I watched horrified as they wrapped themselves around him. He wasn't thrown into fire. He was dragged away by the very darkness he had invited. He didn't fall into hell. He ran from heaven. As he was pulled into the final blackness, I heard a sound I'll never forget. Jesus wept. It wasn't loud, but deep and full of sorrow. The grief of a king who created a beloved son, offering him 1,000 chances at life, only to watch him choose eternal death. Then Jesus turned to me. The sorrow still in his eyes, he spoke to my soul. "Evil does not begin in the act," he said. "It begins in the heart when mercy is rejected." One small root of bitterness left unchecked can poison the entire soul. Then, he showed me another vision. America. I saw people in their homes on their phones, screaming at each other. Not with their mouths, but with their hearts. The air was thick with hatred. Hatred for politicians, neighbors, strangers. Those same shadowy whispers were there, fanning flames of anger. You are right. They are evil. Hate them. Destroy them. And people were choosing to listen. I saw them rejecting mercy for their enemies, just as my killer had rejected mercy for himself. They are drinking the same poison, Jesus said, his voice filled with powerful sadness. They think their anger is righteous, but it is a chain leading them to the same darkness. His gaze met mine, full of love and purpose. You have to go back, little one. The thought hit me like a blow. Go back to the pain, back to that broken world. I didn't want to leave. This was home. This was peace. This was real. No, I pleaded. Please, I want to stay with you. I can't go back there. Your story is not finished, he said, his love washing over me like a warm wave. It's not for you. It's for them. Go and tell them to guard their hearts. Tell them to choose forgiveness before it's too late. Teach them to love. I felt his presence wrap around me like the most comforting hug of my life. It was the hardest goodbye. I didn't want to go, but I knew I had to. It was a command given in perfect love. And then I was falling. The light faded. The peace was ripped away, replaced by cold, by weight, by pain. I took a sharp, rattling gasp. A blinding light shone in my eyes. A horrible tube was down my throat, and I was choking. Beeping sounds were all around me, fast and frantic. My side was on fire. A woman in scrubs stood over me, her eyes wide with shock. She screamed for a doctor. She's breathing. She's breathing on her own. I tried to talk, but only gagged. Tears streamed down my face, hot and real. I had just left heaven, and I was back. Later, I learned I had been clinically dead for 11 minutes. They had been about to call my time of death when my heart began beating again. The surgeon told my parents there was no medical explanation. The damage should have been too severe. I shouldn't have survived. And if I did, there should have been massive brain damage. But I was fine. Perfectly fine. I'm telling you all of this for one reason. It's the message Jesus gave me to give you. He didn't ask me to tell you who to vote for or which church to attend. He asked me to tell you to look inside your heart right now. Is there bitterness there? Unforgiveness? Is there someone or some group you hate? That feeling, that self-righteous anger that feels so good, that is the poison. It's the whisper. It's the same seed of darkness that grew in the heart of the man who killed me. I know it's hard. Believe me, I know. But you have a choice. Every day you're offered chances to let go of anger and choose mercy. A chance to pray for someone you disagree with, forgive someone who hurt you, or turn off the news and love the person in front of you. Please don't reject those chances. Don't keep cutting the golden threads of grace, because what he showed me is terrifyingly real. Heaven is real. Hell is real. And the choice every single day is ours.